me that coffee. Give me that coffee. I love coffee. I drink so much coffee, I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself. Hey there, boys, girls, and squirrels. My name is Modstab. Welcome back to Satisfactory. Now, if you guys can't tell, obviously I'm recording this right after the other episode because I'm just stoked. I'm excited. I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. I love it. So now what we need to do is we need to figure out how we want to divide these guys up. So we're going to have 3, 6, 9 dibble dobblers for each one of these. So here's what I'm thinking. All right, so if we go over here, we go into production, we do constructor. We're going to drop this guy down just to look at the numbers. So iron plates, okay, we need 30 per minute. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio there. But if we go into iron rods, we need 15 per minute. So we require 2 of those per one of these. Now, here's what I'm thinking. We dedicate 1 of these exclusively to rods. Maybe this guy here. 2 of them are dedicated exclusively to screws. And then we have the last 3 over here, which are going to be dedicated exclusively to the iron plates. But what we need to figure out is how we want to lay that out. So here is what I'm thinking. Now, the iron rods don't need to be anything too fanciful. And I am looking to do like a multi-tiered factory setup, just because I don't want to make things look hideous. But that will be in the future. Like, I can worry about aesthetics at a later date. But for now, what I do want to do, however, is find the layout for these buildings, all right? And I do want them all to be connected so that it looks as nice and as clean as possible. What I'm thinking is, because there's going to be a lot of 2-tiered items that we're probably going to want to put in a centralized location. We're going to take the... maybe we could do a watchtower just to kind of get a view of what we're doing. But we're going to take the rods. I do kind of want to put those over here. So maybe run the belts over top of what we have going on here. Feed like an iron rod section there. The screws are pretty integral to basically everything, as well as the plates are concerned. So what I'm thinking is we can drop some plates in this section right here, just to kind of make a building look nice. And the screws will kind of run across this, I think this tab right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a few buildings where I can try to optimize the production of these guys as much as possible, at least for what we currently have. And then we'll see you guys when we get back to Geno's. All right, so here's what I am thinking for the first section here. So we're going to go ahead and just run everything into a merger. And it is centralized, so it kind of has this nice little taper to it. We're going to run it off to the side. I'm going to bring it down, and we'll probably cover this, and what we'll probably do is try to surround it with, I don't think we can surround it with this, but what we'll try to do is surround it with walkways once we get that portion, just to make it look a little bit nicer. We are taking that down to this building here, which is going to be used to craft the iron plates. Now, like I said, it is kind of a 1-to-1 ratio, so we are good there. And now this is one thing I really wanted to be particular about, is making sure we keep everything as tidy as possible here with keeping it a couple spaces away. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because we should be able to run the wires here, right? Should get 1, 2, 3. And then what we can do is we can take the wire probably from this side is what I'm hoping. We can run it straight off this back portion, just to give ourselves some room here. Run it there. And this guy, for now, we're just going to run it back. Just to make sure we can get our production up and running. And because we're not crafting at 100% efficiency, I'm not going to worry about running these into the next item per se. What I do want to do, however, is set up... Where's our organization? There we go. I want to set up a storage container. And eventually a Mark II storage container to kind of help all this stuff work in tandem. But what we're going to do is we're going to throw down a merger just like we did on the other spots. We're just going to shoop-de-whoop, call it a day, kind of bring everything together. This is going to be 3 of these beautiful boys crafting. So we're already way more efficient than we were prior. We are still looking pretty solid in regards to our power consumption here. So I think we're good for the time being, keeping in mind that, you know, these 2 guys up here that are connected to power currently aren't really crafting anything, so I guess we can probably get rid of those guys. Alrighty, so now that we have that all squared away and we do have, you know, kind of a stockpile working on it, we are ready to begin the construction of the screws. Now, what I want to do is I think I'm going to go ahead and take that down right here. I do have to remember the screw production, though, so let's go ahead and pop down a constructor. Because we know we get 2 constructors per rod. So we are going to be able to produce 30 per minute. And this takes 10 per minute. So we should be able to get 3 screws per, I guess, yeah. We get 3 screws per one of these. So we should have a total of 6 screws. A total of... yeah. So we should have 4 iron rods and 6 screws, which we should have exactly what we need to be able to do that. Now, before we get too carried away, I do want to make sure we can fit it all in here. And I'm going to do kind of a half level, I think. I like the idea of a half level. I think it works great. Okay, so we have the foundational pieces kind of set up and ready to go. But here's where things get a little interesting. So we're going to have to craft 10. We're going to have to craft 10 constructors, I think. Holy crap. Okay, well, let's get on that and let's try to figure out what the crap we're going to do to make that happen. Okay, so we have what we need to make all the constructors. Here's where things get interesting. What will be the best way to fit them on here in a way where we can split these guys that will make sense of all of this? We're just going to start by giving it a shot. And what I want to do is try to kind of line them up as such. I think that'll work. And we're going to try to do the same thing we did there, is give them a 2 space so we can fit those things in between. Okay, so that's 3, and we need a total of 4, right? Okay, 1, 2. Perfect. Now this is where it gets a little bit crazy, because we need to have 2 of these per one of those. And once again, we're going to have to give them a little bit of space. This may be where things have gotten awkward for yours truly, because I didn't think about the fact that we are going to have to space these out a little bit more in order to make it work, because we can't just stack them right next to each other. Oh. Well, team, this is much awkward. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to redo this and try to space them out as much as we can, as evenly as possible. Alright, so things got a little bit crazy, but I have come up with what I believe to be one of the better options, at least for the layout that we have, so that way we're not running things halfway across the globe for tier 1 resources. So we went ahead and started by having 4 of these constructors spaced out with 1 full tile in between each of them. And then what we did is we left this middle tile completely empty because we want a walkway. We want it to look decent. We want it to look nice and organized. And so with that 1-point walkway, we were able to put 4 of these constructors on each of that, as long as we expanded out the factory just a smidge, with the intention of being able to get 1 splitter off of each of these guys, so that we can kind of just bloop, 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 bloop. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and craft all the splitters just to show you guys what I'm thinking, and then we'll be right back to Geno's. Okay, so the deed is dead, and the plus side of doing it the way that I have right now, it kind of mirroring them, is we don't have to worry about clipping as things kind of branch over to the other side down this middle of the walkway. So now we have a total of 4 constructors that are going to be crafting the they're going to be crafting the rods, and these rods are going to be split off and crafting one of these beautiful baby boys, because these guys are at 15 per minute and 15 per minute, and these guys over here require 10 per minute. What did I do that is wrong? I think I doubled up, but that's okay because we have the resources. All right, well, I'm just going to cut out the entirety of everything that I just crafted, because I was a dum-dum head and didn't decide to math. Wow. And if you want to keep this in, Jared, more power to you. Embarrass me in front of all my loyal subjects. Okay, so we have the 4 crafters, and these guys are, yes, they're 15 per minute. So what that means is we can, wrong one. Between the 2 of these guys, we can power 3 screw production frack constructors. I don't know why I had such an issue with English there, but you know what? It is what it be. So we have 4 of these guys, and I need to figure out the best way to do it, because what we need to do is, can we fit in, because, so here's the catch. I do know that these guys take up 1 full tile as far as width is concerned, and I think it's a tile and a quarter, as maybe it is just a 1 by 1. No, I think it's a 1 wide by 1 1/4 long. I have to figure out how we can divide this up so that we can merge these and then have 3 off of them, at least as far as spacing is concerned anyways. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. We have these guys split up with 1 block in between them. And the reason I wanted to do this actually is so that I could have a singular walkway down here because I think it looks nice. And I want walkways. Dang it. I want walkways. Okay, I digress. However, what we're going to have to do is, we're gonna have to merge these 2 together, and it may be easier, but we need to have the input here. So what I gotta figure out how to do is how we're going to merge these 2 together and then split them out in such a way that would make sense. What we might try to do is, I'm gonna see if the spacing of this works. What if we just did like a merger right here, right off of this? Can they run into it? They can, and it's almost perfect. It is perfect. Oh my gosh, we might be able to do this. And then what if we did a splitter like this? Now, so that one works. Oh my gosh. Team, we did it, and it actually looks pretty freaking decent, actually. I really like how this is a straight angle. So we're just going to go ahead and replicate this on the other side because that ended up working incredibly well. Merger, and we had it. Oh no, we need the rods. Fortunately, we have like a 10 billion of them being that were crafted over here. So we're gonna get some stuff. We're gonna mirror what we just did on the other side, and then we're gonna see if we can't get this screw production up and running. Shoo-ba-doo-ba, shoo-ba-doo-me, 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 shoo-ba-doo, 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 shoo-ba-doo. We want to merger, but we want to merger it like right here. I also don't know why I'm still whispering, but I just kind of started with it, so we're gonna continue. Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't know why I was whispering that the whole time. It was all, it was, we were just being sensual, y'all. Oh yeah. All right, perfect. So, I mean, it's organized in the sense where we have a lot of space as far as wiggle room is concerned, and we are able to support up to, we're able to support up to 240 screws per minute, which I think is absolutely intense. Now, I didn't leave much space here, so we're going to have to find a creative way to do this. Now, these aren't going to be expanded, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Since they can't be expanded upon, as far as with what we're crafting currently, I think 2 poles would do the trick. We are, however, going to be a little bit nicer. Have one of these guys. Oh, good gravy sauce, Bojangles. We're going to put them in here so that it's kind of centralized. Now what we need to do is we need to take those 2 boys, okay? We need to take these 2 boys. Shut up! I know I've been playing for 2 hours. I've done multiple recordings, you stupid idiot. I mean, haha, we're all friends here. Deedle deedle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to take this guy. I know we merged this one, but I think the best way to do this, to keep this runway as clear as possible, is we want to try to see if we can't. You know what would be really cool is if we could run it underneath. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. We're going to be right back, and if Jared hasn't jump cut this already, well, here's his cue to jump cut. What we're going to do next, so we have our iron plates, we have our screw production ready to go and stockpiling up. Now what we need to do is get the iron rods, which is going to be much less of a production as we only have one of these guys, which will be able to feed 2 iron rods. So what I'm thinking I want to do is just try to keep everything kind of centralized how we have it so far, is we're going to go ahead and just put the iron rods kind of down here on a downhill slope. So I'm going to design that real quick, and then we'll be right back. All right, so I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit of a loss for how I wanted this all to work, because the levels aren't perfectly, you know, like balanced so that you can just stack on top, on top, on top, on top. But I wanted to try to expand as wide as possible. And the more I thought about it, the less sense that made, as I was designing these as like specific buildings, like for a very particular reason. If I need more production than what I have here, I make a second floor, and then I make a conveyor system out of that second floor down to whatever else we need. So we have kind of the layout we need. All we need to do is build up if that's the case. So me putting these constructors here isn't going to run into issue because we're not expanding out that way. We're expanding up this way. So now that being said, we have the 2 constructors there. We're going to go ahead and drop down this power pole in the middle real quick. Did I give them 2 spaces? I think so. And we're going to go ahead and just put this right up here on the front. We're going to put one right over here on the front as well. And then we're going to run 1 power pole. We're probably going to run it right there. We're just going to run 1 on this backside just to make sure everything stays as neat and tidy as possible. We're actually going to move this one back a little bit, I think. There we go. So now we can take this power pole from there, throw it on this so that we're not worrying about hitting the conveyor belts. So no image clipping there. We'll throw these guys in. All right, I like it. I like it. So we'll go ahead and pop one here. Pop one there. Constructors are up and running. And now all we really need to do to get this one working is throw a merger down right in between these 2. We'll throw it about right there. Make this guy look... What? Did I do this one backwards? Me thinks I did. Did I do both of them backwards? Me thinks I did. Oh boy, me thinks I'm a dum-dum head. All right, boys. Okay, so we need it this way. Well, I'm a genius, boys. There we go. There we go. Now I can throw this guy in here. This guy off that one. Hey, it goes now. It works. He worksies. I should have thought about... Actually, you know what? I am going to do that. You know what? We're going to go ahead and pick all this stuff up. I'm going to think about it in a way where I can keep the chest of this centralized to be like here-ish. I may not need it. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up. Organization. Doobly-dooblers. Okay, we got that guy ready to go. We got the merge machine, and we'll worry about that in a minute. But I did want to make sure that it was as centralized as possible. Okay, so now what we need to do is take the constructor. We know that it needs to face this way. That is centralized, but what we want to do is make sure... Okay, 1 off center and 1 back. And then we should... be good to go there, right? Oh no, I might have to move this one over 1 more. Why does one have to be so picky about this? There we go. Now we're centralized. Now what we can do is we can throw down the merger, right? And we can throw it like right here, I think. Which will give it that like 90-degree angle look, which I am so in love with. Devin, pay attention to where you're placing your mergers, you dang savage creature. Right there. Now we good. Now we golden. Now we got that 90-degree look that I was just talking about being really enjoying. We're actually going to go ahead and... we're going to move those over. Because how we have it set up, one should be able to go right there. Throw it right here. We'll actually just throw one right there just so we can have exactly what we wanted before. We are going to connect these guys to the power. We are going to have them do rods. Perfect. And now all we need to do is run up here real quick. Provide power to these bad boys so that when they inevitably get what they need, resource-wise, they'll be able to craft. Perfect. So now that area is set up and we will have a stockpile ready for it. All we got to do is figure out how we want to bring this guy into the party. All right, so I know there was a lot of jump cutting and stuff going on in this episode just so we can keep up because I wanted to show this specific progress on camera. However, these look nicer too. Wow, everything just looks so much nicer with this 3 update. So here's the deal. We got iron production going on very strong over there. We got our screw production going on, and we have our iron rod production. So for iron rods, we are currently doing 30 per minute. For these screws, we're doing 240 per minute. And for the plates, we are currently producing 60 per minute, I believe, is what we're at right now. So we're doing very good on the tier 1 resources. However, as soon as our power for the biomass generators at the base runs out, we're actually going to be overcharging the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to build one more coal miner in order to make this work. So in order to make that happen, we're going to go ahead and craft the resources we need. Then we're going to jump cut until we place that guy down, check our power infrastructure, make sure it's all kosher, and then we'll be golden. And I'll see you guys when we get there. Okay, so we are actually back here. We should be primed and ready to be able to just slap one of these bad boys down. Power, coal generator. And we should, in theory, be able to slap down a splitter, which should work just fine. Just to make sure, we're actually going to go ahead and put that one in first, make sure it's a straight shot, and it is. And then all we should have to do, if I did this correctly, is I just hope it works. That's all that I care about. Now, you can feed into there, right? And then all we should have to do from there, now that we have that guy running, let's go ahead and throw... Should I throw it here just to make sure it can fit? Well, it should be able to fit basically anywhere as long as it's on that line, right? How many spaces these guys? Well, we're going to go there for now just to see. Worst case scenario. No. But that's okay. We can craft it up here. So worst case scenario, if that ends up being too close to where we want to put our next coal generator, then we just move it like a couple feet or whatever. So that's not a big deal at all. We just need like 3 or 4 of these. Good enough. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back in this just to make sure we can get all that stuff connected. So now they should all be connected to the power line, the power source, power signal. We're getting plenty of water to that one. Plenty of water here. Plenty of water there, which is absolutely perfect. And then we should have, that's right, 265. So as soon as that, as soon as that other generator pops down, we should be good to go. All right, so let's go ahead and pop back to the main base so we can take a look at what we've already done, and then we will see you guys when we get there. Alrighty, so we're just gonna have our coffee while we do this outro and kind of walk through what we have hopefully accomplished. I can't tell if it's an accomplishment or if it's a disaster, but it is what it is. So we got everything running into these guys. We do have the efficiency ready for the Logistics Mark II belts. So all we need to do is just upgrade the belts to these units, and then we'll be in full production swing. We got our beautiful iron rods kind of starting on over here. Nothing too crazy as far as items are concerned, but you know what? It is what it be. Can we reach that? Nope. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and take that one down because we don't need it anymore. All right. But we got that going. That's pretty solid. The one that I'm actually the most proud of is the screw production because of passing this splitter and everything underneath. I just think that looks so clean and so smooth, especially since we have this centralized walkway, which we're probably going to make into like a kind of a, I guess, a walkway for our entirety of the factory. And then over here, nothing too special. We don't even have it hardly connected via ramp or anything. But this is our beautiful iron rod production section. And then we also added a couple more things to our power. So looking pretty solid here. But we are in a great position. As a matter of fact, we might even have what we need to do Logistics Mark II. However, you guys have seen me do a lot of the upgrades as far as milestones are concerned, so I probably won't put many of those on camera. We'll probably progress off camera as far as milestones are concerned, and then we'll just have kind of the new change and trade-offs as far as production is concerned with the amount of everything here. We're full on that. Just in the time it took to build these guys, we're full on pretty much everything. I wonder how we're doing on screws. But either way, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As it's a flip, dip, and blast to be here with you guys. I love it. However, if you've made it this far and you are not a member of the community, feel free to hit the subscribe button because, well, we'd love to have you. Love to have you here. We're going to go ahead and do this just so we can get a nice little view. All right. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. It's beautiful. Anyways, if you've made it this far and you are not a member of the community, feel free to hit the subscribe button because we'd love to have you continue to join me on this journey. I think it's a blast. I'm falling in love with the game all over again. Not that I ever quit, but this update 3 thing has just got me stoked. It is unbelievable. However, I digress. You guys can certainly see that as we are playing through the game. However, if you are a member of the community, you have not hit the bell notification icon, please, why don't you love me? Go ahead and do that now. Why? Because we upload content every Monday through Friday, and we do live stream Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I'd love to have you guys in there. This last one was great. We had a little bit of a chill session before we jumped into, actually, ironically, Satisfactory. But by the time you watch this, who knows? There's maybe more streams. I don't even know. Nobody knows. But it's all good. However, we do have a community Discord in the comment section I do this every time. We have a community Discord in the description link below, both for general chat, hanging out, but also ways where you can recommend games that you would like to see me play through, whether you enjoy it, whether you don't want to spend the money and try it, and just to have somebody else play through it, see if it's worth it, because I would love to make a series out of that for you guys. However, I have rambled on far too long, and yes, this intro is going to have to be cut up so much. I apologize to my beautiful editor. I love you. I love you. I'm going to show my filthy little cake. I'll see you guys next time. Toodles. Whoopsh.